Okay, everyone, welcome back. So, we are here where we left off in front of this house with the labored breathing inside. And first things first, my wonderful viewers helped me figure out a couple of things that I had missed in the town. So let's go back to the town. Let's see, can I go up from here? Yes, I can. Oh, it's a little, we haven't been here before, have we?
The beautiful blue lake has a clear and pristine quality.
Or have we?
It is a baby bird, and not a terribly pretty one at that.
Is it an ugly duckling?
You should stand in the water.
Oh, I bet it's an ugly duckling. I bet it... Whoa! Whoa! That ducky sure picked up speed when I... Whoa! He gets away pretty fast.
This water feels wet. This water...
No,
You walk into position and try to catch the baby bird. Though you are quick, the small bird is quicker. It darts along the water out of your reach. You will not be able to catch it with your bare hands.
Okay, so do I need a net or something like that?
A small area of land rises high enough to remain above the surface of the lake.
I can kind of see that. I mean, I don't really need the game to describe that to me. I was sort of hoping to see something that I couldn't see, but...
There is not a great deal to do with a tiny island. There is nothing to do with it, actually.
I guess nothing is not a great deal, depending on how you measure great deals. Anyway, so yeah, let's find our way back to the town, because there were a couple of things going on there that I missed. Or not necessarily things going on, but things worth... Oh, here's the pumpkin patch. We've already seen that. So I think the town was just to the right of here. I wanted to say east of here, but we don't really necessarily know that the game faces north, although there is kind of the assumption. There is usually the assumption in these games that the game faces north, and so when you go right, you say you're going east, even though it's not necessarily the case that that's east. Anyway, who knows if this world even has a magnetic field. Alright, so we are on the way to the town. Here we are. And so, first things first, about this door, and how there's something underneath the door that we're supposed to get at, but...
You can't quite get your fingers...
But Graham can't quite get his fingers under it. Well, hold on, let me just save quickly here. I'm trying to think of a clever name to type in that won't fill in the box. Door which doesn't... Yeah, there's no room for that. No finger door. Yes. Alright. So, I mentioned in the previous video, I don't think that we'll be able to get either the sword or this picket under the door. Well, somebody said, don't doubt so quickly, it really was that easy. And indeed, sure enough, if you take the sword and click it on the door...
Making sure that no one is watching, you slide your thin blade under the door and draw out what appears to be a letter.
Now, I'm not an expert on swords. In fact, I've never owned a sword, and I'm not sure if I've ever really even seen a real sword in person. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty certain I've never handled one, like actually held one in my hands and examined it, maybe in some museums. Probably in some museums I may have seen some medieval swords, but I've never actually held one or examined one closely. So, I don't know how thick a sword is supposed to be, but I really doubt that a sword is thinner than your fingers. I mean, how thick are your fingers? Your fingers are probably 2 centimeters thick, maximum. And I don't think that, I don't think that the sword is likely to be much thinner than that. In fact, I would think that the sword would be thicker than that, because otherwise it would be too fragile. I mean, if the metal is really that thin, it would break pretty easily. But no, apparently the game lets you get the letter with the sword. And not only that, if that's not enough for you, you can even get it with the fence picket.
Making sure that no one is watching, you slide the wooden picket under the door and draw out what appears to be a letter.
Now, once again, I'm not a fencing professional. I have not really very closely examined and dimensioned various types of fences, but I really doubt that the boards that they use for fencing are significantly thinner than a person's fingers. In fact, once again, I would expect them to be at least a little bit thicker, because a fence which uses such thin wood would break pretty easily. I don't think that... Well, I may be overanalyzing it. Maybe I'm just thinking about this too much. I think a better way to think about the puzzle might be that Graham's fingers are not long enough. Now that would make sense. The sword and the fence picket are both very clearly longer than Graham's fingers, and so if the game had said your fingers aren't long enough to reach the letter, then I would have said right away, okay, well, let's try maybe the sword or try the fence picket. But it just sort of... I got the impression that the idea was that Graham's fingers were too thick, which maybe was a wrong understanding. I don't know. Anyway, let's take a look at this letter. So...
It is a letter addressed to the resident of the town.
Did he say to the resident of the town?
It is a letter addressed to the resident of the town.
I'm pretty sure he said it's addressed to the resident of the town, but okay, maybe that was just a reading error.
You open the letter and read it. Dear applicant, please find enclosed the library membership card to which you are now entitled. The 5-year application process has concluded, and we are pleased to inform you that your status as a member of the town library is confirmed. Welcome to an exclusive group of patrons. Yours sincerely, Town Librarian. P.S. Please sign your name on the card to ensure validation.
A 5-year application process for a library card. Crazy. And yes, it is a pretty exclusive club considering that the only people in it are you and a dead guy. A dead count at that. This makes sense. I mean, the librarian did mention that the older gentleman next door and the Count are the only people who are library patrons who have library cards. And so it makes sense that this guy's house here has the library card, and that the Count, who's dead, is basically a dead end. No pun intended. So here's where we get the library card. Can we click it on ourselves?
You slide your fingers along the edge of the card, narrowly avoiding a cut.
Is the card really that sharp? Well, anyway, so you can already see it's got a line for a signature at the bottom.
It is an unsigned library card.
And the description confirms that.
You attempt to sign the card with your finger. No luck.
And so you can probably just guess what'll happen if we try to use this card now in the library.
Will you accept this?
No,
Why not?
it has not been signed.
Yeah, we saw that coming. I mean, I could have almost quoted that entire dialogue word for word just from guessing. If you had said, how do you think the dialogue would go down, I would have probably written almost that same dialogue word for word. So this librarian is fairly predictable. But oh well, consistency is sometimes a virtue, sometimes. So we need to figure out a way to sign the library card, and let's see, actually it just occurred to me, since there's that quill pen there, can we click the card on the quill?
What are you doing?
I was just...
Don't.
So, okay, wait, is this like at the beginning of Space Quest 5 where you just need to wait for her to turn away? You know, at the beginning of Space Quest 5 where there's that, where you're doing the SAT test, or the SAT.
You quickly grab the quill while the librarian isn't looking and sign your name on the blank library card. You replace the quill before the librarian notices it missing.
And it really was that simple, yeah. I didn't even know that, I just kind of guessed it because I noticed that the woman tends to kind of look back and forth. So yeah, it is like at the beginning of Space Quest 5 when you're taking the StarCon aptitude test and you have to quickly glance at the other person's answers while the droid is turned away. So now we have a library card signed with the name... it doesn't really look like Graham to me, it looks more like maybe Grabar or something, but it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say Graham.
It is a signed library card.
I would assume that Graham's not illiterate.
You slide your finger.
Yeah, okay. I assume he knows how to write his own name. So let's give the card to the librarian now.
Will you accept this?
Yes, you are younger than I expected.
I eat well and get a lot of exercise.
I see.
So, what do I do now?
borrow.
You mean I can take books from this library?
No.
Oh,
I can't take the books from the library, so what does she mean by borrow? This woman could stand to be a little more verbose. I understand there are some people who talk too much, like me, and use too many words, but she could benefit from, she seems to have a bit of the opposite problem.
Yes?
could you recommend a good book?
Wow, she walks pretty fast.
There.
What's this?
The librarian has placed the book on the desk for you to read. Thoughtful, isn't she? This book is entitled Kalima, Perfect One Day, Better the Next. Browsing through it, you notice an interesting excerpt.
Oh boy. If you are considering traveling to the wondrous land of Kolima, then you should be congratulated on your timing, for indeed it has changed much since creation many years ago. The very occasional earthquake has altered the land to the east somewhat, creating deep chasms near the mountainside. Yes, we noticed that. The changing ocean levels in this region have caused an alteration in the shape of the coastline, and of course the people themselves have relocated from where they once lived. Most now reside in the town, which is nestled in the safety of the mountains. A wise decision, for more than a few have claimed to hear the sounds of howling at night, a sign that many wild animals have moved into Weirwood Forest in recent times. As a result, few venture past the town gates, especially after dark. This isolation and the relative scarcity of people throughout most of the realm has made Kolima a haven for the tourist who wishes to soak up the natural atmosphere of the land. It has also made a significant convenience for those who have settled in Kolima far from the town and wish to maintain their privacy to pursue their own ambitions in peace. The realm of Kolima is a wondrous land of beauty and, for the adventurous among you, danger. See also Guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles, which is of course a reference to King's Quest VI. Specifically, the Guidebook to the Land of the Green Isles is actually a physical book. It was actually a physical printed paper booklet that came with the original King's Quest VI. Somebody also mentioned to me that you can actually look at the book titles here in the library. Funny thing, I actually got so caught up in looking at other things and talking to this librarian that I forgot to focus on the main thing, which is actually the books. I guess I figured I would interact with everything else and then come to the books at the end, but I got so flustered that I forgot to interact with the books. So let's take a look at some of the books here. Apparently we can get some funny titles and
You
references.
glance at the titles on this shelf, revealing the truth about seeing unicorns and something about oneself in the process.
Don't know what that might be a reference to, if indeed it is a reference to something.
Futures History, the true story of Space Quest 12.
Space Quest 12, of course, was where you start. Space Quest 4.
Gullivers Travels,
Yes, obviously Gullivers Travels.
a guide to bushranging, safety tips on robbery while wearing a metal box on your head.
Must admit that I don't catch the reference to that, if that indeed is a reference. Do we get different titles over here, or...?
You glance at the titles on this shelf. Chronicles of the Brady Bunch. Interesting, this book has a warning label. Prolonged exposure may cause irreparable damage to your perception of reality.
Yes.
A Traveler's Guide to Ludor.
Oh.
You skim through the book. It describes a small town which serves as a port of call for passing ships. Apparently, it is under the jurisdiction of a wizard who is not at all popular with the locals.
Yes, Ludor, of course, is the place where King's Quest III starts.
Selling your wares without selling yourself. The art of being a lowly merchant and feeling proud of it. Mildly curious, you open the book. The first chapter is entitled, The Truth of Falsity. It begins to describe how to make a totally worthless item seem like a must-have for the gullible buyer. A later chapter entitled, The Serious Business of Talking Funny, details how to adopt a foreign accent and use fragmented grammar to convince the same gullible buyer that you are not just some ordinary con artist trying to make a quick gold.
That appears to be a book that guy outside with the pumpkin read. That sales guy who pretends to be Indian, even though he's actually has a sort of a British kind of, I want to say British Cockney accent, but I'm not sure if that's actually a Cockney accent. But anyway, the guy with the pumpkin outside.
Euspheria, the many that became one. This book tells of how, over time, the realm of Euspheria ceased to be a multitude of feuding regions and became a united kingdom. Once unable to defend itself, even as a whole, it now has a large standing army. The present lord of the realm is said to be kind, generous, and wise. The art of becoming a portcullis to portcullis salesman. Melodies for minstrels. Ooga Booga Land and other undesirable travel destinations.
But first, go!
The Carpenter's Handbook. The Big Book of British Smiles.
I think that's an oxymoron.
Chronicles of the Interesting.
We saw that one already.
A Traveler's Use.
Okay. I guess that's it for here, but I guess we, so I guess each of the four...
Glance at the titles on this shelf. Remember the Triton, an autobiography from the ruler of the Mer people.
Oh, isn't that someone whom we'll encounter in this game? I guess each of these four bookshelves back here have different sequences they go through.
Icebergs and unsinkable ships.
Titanic.
The Legends of Weirwood Forest.
Isn't that the forest that is here that this game takes place in?
Trolls and Bridges. An Obsession Explained.
Yeah, man, what is it with trolls and those bridges anyway?
Guidebook to the Land of Tamir.
Which is, of course, where King's Quest IV takes place.
A Tale of the Flannelled One. Apparently, this book is about the author of a 6-part space opera.
Is that a reference to Space Quest? Because I was about to say, is this about grunge musicians from Seattle?
Livin' La Vida Loca.
Oh, copyright. Sponsor.
How Not to Turn a Novel into a Film. See Dune.
Okay, that's just... This is just getting into like direct references now. This is not even subtle allusions. This is direct name dropping. And yes, I know that a lot of people didn't like the Dune movie as compared to the books, but still, that's a bit direct for a game like this.
Curses and counter curses, and how not to get them confused.
Yeah, that sounds like something good to not mix up.
101 Things to Do When You Are Lonely. You are not even going to touch this one.
I have a bad feeling that I know what all 101 of those things are, and, well, let's not talk about that.
Let's get physical.
Yeah.
With what, you wonder?
That's exactly what I didn't want to talk about.
Modern Inventions Monthly. This month's edition focuses on an essay entitled Reinventing the Wheel. Shrimps and barbecues, an inexplicable connection.
Doesn't seem so inexplicable to me.
Carnivorous plants. When and what to feed them without arousing suspicion. It is written by a man named Seymour Krelborn.
Is the name a joke? Because if so, I don't get the joke.
Cooking tips for singles. While you are single and you can't cook, you still have no need of this book. At least, not with the entire kitchen staff at your disposal back home. Even rotten tomatoes deserve a little respect.
Probably a reference to the rotten tomato from King's Quest VI.
Remember the Triton.
Okay, now it loops.
The Theory of Relativity, and other half-baked crackpot ideas.
Because that was certainly known in the medieval times.
Arrival of the Ancients. Were their origins of this world? That seems like a silly title. Where else would they have come from? The stars?
I was just about to say aliens, but then it became clear that that is actually a reference to the aliens meme.
Chronicling the Longest Journey. Or how to sustain a compelling story when your lead character sounds like an airhead.
Okay, that's just mean-spirited, guys. Come on. I mean, April Ryan is not necessarily the most the most engaging character ever to grace an adventure game, but she's not that bad. And I mean, you know, when the game starts, she's young and inexperienced, and she kind of grows up a lot and becomes a lot more self-assured and a lot more, a lot less annoying by the end of the. Well, anyway.
Magic for the layman. All you need is a good book. Dragon Slaying for Dummies.
Is it April Ryan? No, I'm not sure actually. It's been years since I played The Longest Journey. I want to say the main character's name is April Ryan, but maybe I'm mixing that up with someone. Wait, was April Ryan the woman from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? No, that was April O'Neil, I think. I think April Ryan was the woman from The Longest Journey and its sequels.
Dwarves are from Mars, elves are from Venus.
Obviously, men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
The Taming of the Shrew.
An actual book, or an actual play by Shakespeare, if I'm not mistaken.
Jousting and other party games.
That's not really a party... Well, I guess it can be a party game, but it can be a kind of a fatal party game.
The Beginner's Guide to Buying Your First Horse.
Yeah, that's a good thing to read, because you don't want to get it wrong the first time.
Drunks and Monks. How to Tell Them Apart.
Doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to me, but okay.
Quest for Glory. A Hero's Death.
Okay, pretty obvious reference there.
10 Easy Steps to Owning Your Own Castle.
Well, I mean, if you've seen King's Quest V, just one easy step, just cast a magic spell that transports it into your lab.
Revealing the truth about seeing unicorns.
This is probably a reference to King's Quest IV. I don't know. Because isn't there... I've heard a theory that... So I'm not big on the whole folklore. I don't really know the whole folklore behind unicorns, but I heard a theory actually not too long ago that King's Quest IV proves that Rosella is a virgin at the beginning of the game. At least in King's Quest IV, she's a virgin because apparently only virgins can see unicorns. And so the fact that Rosella can see a unicorn in the game proves that she's a virgin. I don't know. Is this true? Is there actually is that part of the folklore of unicorns that only virgins can see them? I don't know. Anyway.
Futures History.
Okay, we saw that.
Gullible.
Yeah, okay. I think we've seen all the book titles then, because these... these don't actually... Those don't actually yield any titles, so... Okay, well, we've made some progress. Can I talk to the woman again?
You have nothing else.
Okay. Can I take the book with me?
This book is entitled...
Okay, same book. I don't know. What if we give her the library card again?
There's no reason to show the librarian your card again. You're already a member.
Actually, I'm the only member since the only other member is the Count, and he's dead, if I understood correctly, so... Alright. Well, that was the library, and wow, that already filled up the whole video, pretty much.
You have entered the town. Two buildings in particular catch your attention. The antique shop and the town library.
Okay, I get the idea. So we need to, now that we've been to the library, we need to check out the antique shop. But I think the antique shop is still closed, isn't it?
The door is the sun's position in the sky.
It's still morning, so okay. Well, let's go ahead and get out of the town. I think we're done here for now. Thank you to my viewers for explaining to me how to get that library card. And yeah, I mean, I've already been... I spent like 20 minutes in that library. See, I really like libraries, man. I can really spend a long time in a library when I start getting into it. So let's go and save the game. Can't even type in library here. Read books in lib. Okay, good enough. All right, I guess I'll stop here because I really have no idea where to go now, and any further exploration would probably... Actually, you know what? Just so that we can see some new places that we haven't been to before, let's just walk around for a bit and see. Can I just real quick find, as maybe like a teaser for the next video, find a screen that we haven't seen yet? Oh, here we go. Here's something. What's this?
A large lemon tree grows by the path. Some lemons have fallen from the tree. The lemons on the ground are spoiled. You would do best to pick a fresh one from the nearby tree. You reach out and pluck a large, juicy-looking lemon from the tree. You won't be needing another lemon.
How do you know that? All right, well, I guess I'll save here as got lemon. If I click the lemon on Graham, will he actually eat it?
Yuck! You don't want to bite into the lemon.
Okay, fair enough. Lemons can be sour.
It is a lemon. Its juice has a bitter taste.
No, it has a sour taste. Sour is not the same as bitter. All right, well, that was Can I put the lemon back in the tree?
You can't use that there.
No. What a shame. All right. Okay, well, that was a good video. I went through the library and I got a lemon. That's a productive video in my opinion. So thanks for watching, everyone. And once again, thanks to the viewers who told me how to get the library card. Next time around, we will continue exploring Colima and hopefully find some other cool stuff to see and do. Until then, I wish you all well, and I will talk to you again soon.